Welcome to Heal Yourself podcast, and today we're going to be talking about, how to get through hard times. And there's some things I learned as, getting through hard times and based off of my experience. And I choose to share that to others. So I was reading this book called The Expectation Hangover, and something it said that really, helped with me getting through hard times is it had a question. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me, you say, why is this happening for me? Or you could say, what is this teaching me? The reason why, what is this teaching me, or why is this happening for me is good is because it'll change your perspective around the experience of things happening to you. So you don't look at it in a darker view, because there's always more to the story of why things happen to you. It's not happening to you mostly because of bad reasons. When you label it as bad, you're judging your experience. So before you judge your experience, you need to ask yourself the questions. Why is this happening for me? What is this teaching me? And the reason why these are good questions to ask yourself is because it really does change your perspective upon things, and it gives you a lot of spiritual wisdom, a lot of spiritual enlightenment. And the reason why I say it does that for me, for sure, because when I was feeling impatient about something I wanted to happen in my life, I started to ask myself, and it was something that I was going through, where I would start comparing myself to other people's lives, and I would be very impatient about things I wanted to happen in my life, and they haven't happened yet. The question I started to ask myself was, what is this teaching me? And the thought that came to my mind was, this is teaching me how to be a patient person. That's why I feel so impatient, because this experience of having to be patient is teaching me how to be a patient person. Because being patient builds this character of patience. It develops your character into becoming a very patient and wise person. So that's why it's important that when you go through stuff, you don't say, why is this happening to me? You could change it and switch it around. My typical question I would ask all the time is, what is this teaching me? And it's like a reminder. It's to remind myself, like, the reason why things haven't happened in your life that you want to happen is because it's teaching me how to be a patient person. Because if I'm a very impatient person, this whole experience of things being slow in my life is teaching me how to be a patient person. And another thing I want to talk about too is I hate that society has these standards around where if something's moving slow in your life, then it's bad. Can we change that perspective and realize that sometimes things have to slow down in your life? Because I listened to this podcast, and his name is The Mindset Mentor. And he said something that was important. And he said, it's okay to slow down. Because he said sometimes moving too fast can mess things up. So it's better to be slow and patient than fast and impatient. Because it's okay if things are moving in a slow progress. Slow progress is still progress. So if things are not moving in the speed that you want it to move, in the direction you want it to be directed, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I think that society have programmed our minds to believe that things have to always move fast if you want something. It's okay if it's moving slow. If something has to happen in your life that you want to happen, that's okay. And you're not left, your life is not left behind. The reason why you have that perception is because you keep looking at other people's lives and looking at it as if it's yours. And every time you do that, every time you put yourself in the same place as someone else, you're gonna feel that way. You gotta remind yourself that your journey is different from someone else's journey. Our journey are all different. So anytime you start to feel like your life is left behind, remind yourself that my journey is not the same as someone else's. And there also could be people that go through way worse things than you do. So before trying to judge your experience of life, before trying to say your life is bad, think about all the things that happen in your life and think about how your journey is different than everyone else's life. Because we tend to do that a lot. When we start to compare our lives to other people's lives, we tend to judge the experiences that we went through. And it just, it makes you start to be negative towards things. And something you can really do too when you have negative thoughts that come in your mind, I seen this YouTuber girl, I don't know her name, but she had something about observing your thoughts. That could be your way of meditating. You don't have to close your eyes and crisscross applesauce and do some You don't have to do that. Everyone has their unique way of meditating. You could do walking meditation. You could do the, observing your thoughts meditation, or you could do the original way of meditating. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever that feels comfortable to you. So if you do meditate, it's you just do which one that is, more of your style. I would say more of my style would probably be the one where you're observing your thoughts. And the technique is noticing your thoughts. That's observing it. For example, if you have a negative thought in your mind, you could be like, I'm noticing I'm having a negative thought. If you have a what if anxious thought in your mind, you could say, I'm noticing I'm having an anxious thought. And notice how clear that makes your mind feel just by doing that. It just makes your mind feel more clear because you're not identifying yourself with that thought. Instead, you are separating yourself between your thoughts and thoughts that come and go, because you are not that thought. So that's my technique of getting rid of negative thoughts. Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoy this episode. It was a short one, kind of. And let me know what you think down below.